Welcome to this little presentation regarding Derohalo, um, which is my newest project and consists out of the following features. Multi-signature contracts with authorization groups that can be defined freely, guarantee contracts, listings, it's like a marketplace, and also chat and a web contract with which the website owner can earn money hosting the website. So let's get into it. The first thing is multi-signature contracts, which is something that I always wanted to do with smart contracts, where you can define different authorization groups freely. This automatically creates here the code for it in real time. And so you can take these things and assign involved parties to this. Let's remove this again. And what is an authorization group? An authorization group is a group of approvers which can have the following limitations. You can set a maximum withdrawal limit for this group. Required approvers is if it's 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3 or all need to approve. You can say, yeah, they can withdraw money, but not before a certain date. And you can also, and this is for me like an inheritance function, where you can say, yeah, the following users, for example, if you are Caroline or whatever, in this case, I'm using the Dero simulator here, so I have from port 40,000, 40,001, 40,002, 3, and 4. These represent different wallets. And in this case, I'm here 40,003, so this is child 1. It doesn't make a lot of sense to make it with child 1, but yeah, so basically, if he would be the owner of this installed smart contract, then, and he wanted to change, use this as an inheritance contract, so to say, he would define himself as a user who can add time. So then here you see a delayable appears in this withdrawal start, which currently is right away, but you would, for example, say that withdrawal is possible after 3 months, but before the 3 months end, you just add another 3 months and add another 3 months when those are over, and so on and so on. And so this way, if you die, at the most, your heirs might need to wait 3 months. And you can give everyone involved their private keys to those wallets which are here defined by name. And then you can just say install smart contract. So in this case, the contract owner would be child 1, and child 1 would be the person who can withdraw whenever. I mean, it would have made more sense with Johnny in this case, but who cares? So yeah, so he could always withdraw the money if he wanted to, and if he dies after the 3 months or whatever, this group could withdraw with 2 out of 3 approvers. So let's say installed smart contract. So this is now installed, and somebody can propose, someone of the involved parties that you saw before can propose a transaction. So this one has almost no money in it, so let's go to Johnny. So he could, yeah, let's load first the contract. So let's go to Johnny. paste this in here. So here we have the contract, and here also is some money. It doesn't make sense, but usually the one who will who does the inheritance, he would fund this. But it's okay. Let's say we add 2 Deros in it. So this has now been deposited, and now somebody could propose a transaction. Let's say, let's say Johnny will propose it. Who cares? So let's say to child 1, 0.5 Deros, to child 2, 0.3, and to Caroline 0.2. Then he would say propose, and now if he approved, nothing would happen because he's not one of the approvers. But let's go to someone who can approve this. So we would have child 1 or child 2. Let's go to child 2. And let's say child 2 approves this contract. So let's say here in the history, review transaction. So here we have the people who received it, and he can also chat anywhere with the other persons using the chat. And so he can press now approve. But that's not enough because we have 2 out of 3. So you have approved, but others need to approve still. So let's go to someone else. Let's go to Caroline. Caroline also opens the smart contract that we created, goes to the same transaction, and she sees child 2 already approved, so let's approve it as well. So let's say approve, and now done, the transaction is done. And now there's only a balance of 1 Dero in this contract, and the wallet balance rose. So okay, so let's go to the next one. The inheritance function I find quite important because worldwide it's about 3 trillion that gets inherited. One might say, okay, there's lots of houses and cars and stuff like this, but there's also 2.5 trillion in crypto, where right now it's difficult to leave the heirs some private keys and hope that they don't catch the money earlier. It's a bit difficult, so this might help for this purpose. And okay, so let's go to the next one. Yeah, you can also see the history. So you see that this one was done. If we go to another contract and go to that history, there's, for example, more history, right? Where you can see what was paid out in these contracts. And if you propose a transaction, it will be atomic, or everything will be paid, or nothing. And the maximum number of transactions that can be within an atomic transaction, you can set this here by moving this slider. So you see, the more possible transaction at once, the closer you get to the 20 KB limit, which is the limit in Dero. So you can adjust this, and then with all the other functions that you can do here, you can put some arrows on it, or you can always display the colors so that you know which authorization group to what. There's also the thing with wealth management or banks where they might need 6 out of 8 approvers and so on. So they could store their funds securely everything should be tested before and stuff like this, so that there's no way that the contract is wrong. Please test everything so that this works fine. So let's go to the next type of contract, and that would be a guarantee contract, which is in my eyes quite a really nice solution, because it allows you to trust anyone in the world. You don't need to know him, you don't need to have his passport, you don't need to have a kind of a transaction history like in eBay, because I mean, in eBay I've seen lots of fraud and stuff like this, where they just filled up their history with fake items and so on, and then they had a 99% great rating, and then in the end they did a big scam or something and catch. So let's not pretend we know the other person. International trade goes into the trillions anyhow in a year. And so how does this work? How is it possible that you could easily trust anyone? So the way this works, let's go to the basic example. This is something that I think was invented by David Zimbeck like 10 years ago. He had a product, BitHalo, BlackHalo. One was based on Bitcoin and one was based on Blackcoin. Not sure how he did it, because there's no real support for smart contracts. But the concept was so a real genius idea. And so how does this work? So let's say we get rid of this one. So we have something with 0, 0. So we have now this stage info. So we have party A and party B. Party A does not know party B does not know party A. And let's say you are party A and you want to buy a guitar. You live in Europe, and the other party, you don't even know in reality where the other party lives, but you want to buy a guitar for him. But you say, you want a bank transfer, and I want this to be sent in a package to Europe, but I'm not sure if it will arrive. So the guitar has €100 worth, and is €100 worth. So let's do it this way. You put up a €300 guarantee, and I put up at €200 guarantee, plus I will send you the €100 to your bank account as you wanted to do it. If everything is fine, I will press approve on this stage. And if you're fine with everything, you press approve as well. And then the contract will return the guarantee to each party, and it will send the transfer to the other party. So from party A to party B, and from party B to party A, this amount. We don't, for this kind of transaction, we don't need the transfer part, only the guarantee part. So you only need to trust that the other person does not want to lose money. So if you send the €100 and you don't get the guitar, then you will be angry, and then you will say, okay, but you put up the €300 guarantee. I will suffer, because if one of the two parties does not sign this, then all of the money will stay stuck in the contract. And you even can put a time limit on it. So if this is not resolved and approved in 2 weeks, then it will never. Then it's lost forever. The funds are lost forever. You can also say a few days after another stage or stuff like this. In this very basic example, there is only the stage, so you can say 5 days after contract start or 5 days after contract install or stuff like this. So let's leave it for now, no limit. So if you don't sign it, you will lose, besides the 100 euros for the bank transfer, you will also lose 200 euros in guarantees. But you know that the other person has stuck 300 euros in guarantee, so both would lose equally 300 euros. And the other party can be quite sure that you want to do the transaction, because even if you don't send the 100 euros, he can as well say, you didn't send this, so I will not sign, and you will lose your 200 euros guarantee. So there's no economic benefit in doing a scam or hoax. Regarding this transfer field, I mean, there might be many more applications to it. I don't know all of them, but for example, you know this in movies where you have a taxi driver who takes $100 bill and splits it in two 50% parts, so no one can really pay anything with it anywhere, and says, hey, if you're still waiting for me here in 3 hours, then you will get the other 50 euros dollars, or the other 50% of the bill, right, of the $100 bill. So yeah, if the taxi driver is not there, you can throw your 50% $100 bill in the trash, and the taxi driver will not have anything either. So if you put this here, so this situation, this kind of situation, you would fund the contract sending $100 as party A if you're party A and the taxi driver is party B. You would send $100 here, and if the taxi driver is still there, you approve the stage. And if you approve the stage, obviously party B, which didn't fund anything here, would always approve this and say, yeah, that's great, give me the money. But all depends on party A. So if you go out and the taxi is not there, then you don't sign this. And then you won't get back the money, but the other person will not get the money either. So this is this kind of situation that you can replicate here on the Dero blockchain with these contracts. So let's put in here as a default contract something more elaborate, where you have dependencies after stage 1 finishes, after contract started, after stage 2 finishes in 1 day, 13 hours and 30 minutes, and so on. So this is a more complicated one. So this is after contract installed, and this is for max block height in 1 month, 11 days, and so on. So these are dependent on the other stages. So after approving, it goes to stage 2, and then it's 3 days and 3 hours or whatever. So that is that part. So let's just install this smart contract. For example, you can see all of these conditions are created while you are designing it, and you can see then how this works, so that the contract is always the same. So you can hear guarantee. And why did I add the possibility to add more stages? Because, for example, if you only have one stage, and for example a time limit of in 1 week everything needs to be done, or in 2 weeks or whatever, and you get angry at the other guy might play around and say, he surely doesn't want to lose $200 more. So I got the bank transfer for the Gitter, the $100. Let's see if I don't think he wants to lose another 200. So just that I lose 300. And then the time limit comes and or the money is gone because you didn't sign in time, or you signed and then the guy is €100 richer because he will get back his $300 guarantee, you will get back your $200 guarantee, but you don't have any more leverage over him. So if you would split it up in several stages, like each stage 10% of the total money, like $20 and $30 or whatever, then you can go by the first one and the guy sees, oh shit, he didn't approve the first one, so I lost the $30, he lost the $20, but still I could recover 270, so now let's take him serious, right? So this is why certain more stages make sense in my eyes, but I think the people will come up with other types of solutions or standard contracts or whatever. So it's a Gitter sale here, right? And I say install smart contract. And you always have these buttons here, so if you want to chat with your counterparty, you can just press here, it will go here, and you can directly say hello or whatever, right? You can send this and chat with your counterparty. The chat, I think comes in handy because there's no IP, and at least after the bug fix, the entire meta information of a transaction is completely encrypted. So the other party, which is child one is 40,003. So the other party got here the message hello from Caroline. Let's go back. So this is the all for all persons, and this is if I click, it goes just to the chat. In this case with Caroline. Please send my Gitter or whatever, right? So, okay, send, and then this gets sent, and let's go back to what else here? Okay, guarantee. Okay, so let's say we install this contract. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so now if somebody deposits money into this contract, it doesn't, and the other person has not deposited the money, they can always withdraw their money again. But if the other person as well has deposited the funds, then the contract automatically gets locked, and these stages now define if the money gets back to the user, right? So you also, we now started it. Here there's nothing deposited. So now we can say as well we want to add an image. Let's do that. So we take an image, paste it here, or we can also select a file. So I want this image on my Gitter, I don't know, right? So we can adjust the quality. So the better the quality, the more it costs to send. Let's just say like this. And then here, this is the thumbnail that will be created, and I send this now to the blockchain. You have options like retain EXIF or delete the EXIF information, which is the default here to delete this information. And then you have this image added here. You can add more images. You can, as the owner of the contract, you can also remove this. And here you see, I want this image on my guitar. So okay, well, let's say, I mean, it doesn't make sense to publish this now because this is a fixed one. We could have removed this because this is just as an example. You could remove this, but let's just publish this as listing. So we go here, say guitar market. It could also be BTC euros or Monero euros or whatever. Guitar market. So let's say purchase, and here you can select how much time do you want to buy directly. So these are of package sizes in 2,000 bucks, which is about a day, something like this. So if you want it for 4 days, it would cost you 2 Deros, but we do only the minimum. So purchase, and this web contract that is which is currently loaded, is the owner is here in this case the wallet part 40,000, and he has set this approval required for listing. So he wants to make sure that only things that he's fine with are listed in his marketplace. So let's go to the owner, and he has this guitar sale already waiting. You can look at the image. He can go to the contract in order to see the details in the contract. And he can say, I'm not trusting that this is really a guitar sale. So he can thumbs down, and this will automatically return the money and mark this as rejected, so that then it will not be in the marketplace. We say, okay, thumbs up, and thumbs up will approve the listing. The listing is not pending anymore. And if we go to listings, we see here guitar market, also 2 other listings, right, like this one, and this is the one we sent. And here also you can directly chat with party A, and you can also go to these contracts. You just press here, and you go to the contract. So like this, right? Okay, so let's go. So those are the listings, and then we also have the chat. So let's say, and the chat, besides the functionality to send without IP and encrypted the encrypted content, you can also earn money by receiving messages. And for this, let's say this is the owner. Let's say he wants to send to child 1. You also can, if you have registered your name on the blockchain, you can just type in Slixe or whatever, and it will directly query the blockchain and fill in, if it finds it, fill it in directly like this. So okay, so we have now chosen to chat with child 2. Child 2 has we have said that we want a minimum chat minimum in order to display the messages of 0.00021 Deros. We can change this on an user level. So if you say, now this is my friend, he gets the minimum, the technical minimum for sending a message, which is 0.00001. Or you can also say, yeah, but for in general, for people I don't know, let's say I want to set here a higher limit, like I don't know, if you are Shakira, you might need to put this at 100 euros, but let's say, okay, for not so famous persons, they can surely put 9.5 as a spam filter, and if somebody is willing to send this amount. So now that we changed this, and this is not what is published in this list in the chat minimums in the web contract, we see there is a triangle. So let's say register, and now this is set, so there's no triangle, and everything is fine, right? And okay, so in your friend, as we didn't set anything there, it by default it has this, so we can set this as well. Let's say here to the minimum, say here register, and now this is set at this, and for public in general it's that, right? And if we choose this to be different, we can just set it like this, and then we see all the messages. And so let's send here, for example, a message. So let's say for microphone. Hello, this is a little test. Let's see if it works. So let's say next. So here we have it. We can edit this a bit and say, okay, we take this part and we take that part, and we can also say play only selection. Hello, this is a little test. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it works, it seems like, and we can say next. Hello, this is a little test. Let's see if it works. Okay, so this got now converted to a very small file format in WebM, which is 8,000 bit, which is the minimum, and it uses the browser, and the browser needs to do it in real time. You cannot speed it up without third-party libraries or something. Okay, now we have this information. We can say send, and now this will be sent to child 2. And we see the minimum display limit is 0.0001 euros. So we know for sure that child 2 will see that child 2 is here. So let's get rid of this. We can go here, and we need to go to all, for example, and here we see the message that was sent, 2151. Hello, this is a little test. Let's see if it works. Okay, so he received this part, and we also can say, yeah, let's send some audio back, and select it by a file, and we can say, okay, let's take here a few seconds of a song, but I see that the user doesn't have lots of funds. Okay, so let's say next. And yeah, we see sending these 13 seconds would cost 2.8 Deros, and we unfortunately only have 0.9 too, but I guess this is an easy part to understand, so we don't need to dive more into this. And yeah, so let's take a look at the web contract. Here, this is for how the owner of the web contract sees it. This is port 40,000 for that is the owner of this web contract, and this is how it can be seen from someone who's not the owner. He cannot change anything. So here in the owner, for example, we can change this to a percentage with minimum, like this. And so each time a user registers a friend with a different chat minimum than for the public in general, the web owner cashes in. So if somebody receives messages for 10 Deros because he's someone who's well known, and he expected, like, I mean, if it was Shakira, perhaps she could ask for $500 per message, and surely between the 1 billion people who know her, there would be surely 500,000 or someone who would send a message with a picture or something for 500 euros or whatever. So if she has another 50 friends, she would set the chat minimum to the absolute minimum for them, then 50 times this minimum would be charged, and the other one is a percentage over what she asked for. So if she sets $500 and here's 1,000% set, so she would need to pay $5,000 to the website owner in order to set the higher minimum. Or it could be, I don't know, a politician or the local police who could, for example, pay out rent, what's the name for it, bounties, rewards for catching some criminal. And usually the criminal, I mean, there are many places where people would know who the person was who reported this and that, and so they would then come for him. But if the police would use Derohalo and the Dero blockchain in order to get messages regarding where someone is or whatever, and if there's some hint that allows them to put him in jail, they could pay the bounty without knowing who he is, and so he could feel safe. So there, I mean, there's many usages. There could also be some usages that are not as well seen, but I mean, it's like the internet in general, right? It can be used for good and for bad. So here the website owner would get money for each registering the chat, for each time somebody registered something in the chat. And for guarantees, it's the same, more or less the same thing. This is regarding the amount that is being that is mentioned in the guarantee and in the transfer part, and this is for how long this will be shown in the market, so what the price for a certain time is. And here you can choose if you directly allow everyone to put in their listings, or if you want to take a look first. Here, for example, there's nothing pending right now, and if you are a normal user, you say, okay, I cannot change this, or this is price-wise, this is not what what I find interesting, I think I launch my own with cheaper fees or whatever, and then you can just press install your own contract. So this will now register with this wallet a new web contract, and now he's able to set what the percentage is, and yeah, you can say, I don't want this, and I want a package price of 10 Deros, and the package size in blocks 10,000, and then save configuration. And now this is saved under this contract. He can share this contract, and yeah, in this case the entity that hosts this web page, they have no idea what kind of web contracts are copied in here and so on. So this is up to the user. It's like an email program or something like that, right? Where everyone can configure different providers and different stuff. They can set up their own server. It's open, right? And yeah, so let's mention some other things. Yeah, in the chat, you can define your own chat button that you can then use in the normal web pages, and you can assign some functionality to it. For example, open chat. You can say whatever. I am known. I don't know, whatever you like, or Peter, or whatever, and some address. This is the address by default is this one, but you can put any address in it and some default message. And then you just say, okay, which size do I like? I like this size, and say copy script tag for button, for example, and then you can just go in here and paste it in your HTML code or whatever. You can also download the JS file for inclusion in the header, and you can also download a complete HTML file. So that is it. And what else? Yeah, there you can also set up for MultiSignature contract that you want to share by a button. And so this would then, in the end, when you copy this thing in your web page, you see we have this set up here, but we don't have the Web plus Derohalo protocol service handler registered here in this browser. This is quite easy. So why would one need to use this what is the benefit for the Web plus Derohalo protocol handler? It is that the website is checking the smart contract. There might the code might be changed on some websites and so on. So you have your preferred, if this gets hosted on different, abc.com, def.com, and so on different web servers, you might say, nah, I trust def.com, they put some enhanced smart contract checking in there, and or different, or none at all, or I don't know what. And so you can just say, okay, I prefer this web page to open my Web plus Derohalo links, and so you just say done. And now if we open this again, it will not show this, because now it notices that the browser has this Web plus Derohalo protocol set, and it will open it with this. So the first choice for these buttons is to use the Web plus Derohalo protocol. If it doesn't work, it will use the fallback URL. And in this case, there's no XSWD port defined behind it. So as I'm running this with a simulator, this would not work. And so let's test it out here. There are some buttons. So here this one opens the chat. And you see it goes directly to the chat. Or we also can open a multi-sig smart contract for donations, for example. And so it will directly open it. And we also have here these smart contracts. Okay, they are old because because the HTML page doesn't get updated, but you see how it works, right? So these buttons could be used in any website. You can also simulate other background colors, right? To see how does this look in this and that case. And yeah. And I want to show as well, let's do a guarantee contract with an open standard. I didn't do that. Okay, guarantee. So we have here a fresh new guarantee. We just click here, remove this, BTC buyer. So this could be actually something like an atomic swap alternative. And we can say here, euro seller, for example, instead of this. I mean, this is optional, this is not, it's just euro seller. I want, okay, so we set here euro seller and BTC seller. I want to keep selling euros and buying BTC. We would establish 1,100 Dero guarantee, or let's say 1,000 Dero guarantee, and for both, and sending 100 euro worth each time of BTC and euro. I don't know, something like this. You can get rid here of these extra stages, and you say guarantee 1,000 Dero. We don't need any transfer. 1,000 Dero the other party, and then you just do it over small amounts, sending one another, or perhaps in one for a small warning shot, like with just 100 Deros or something like that, and 900 as a second option. And yeah, so you could just leave it like this, and no limit. So until both don't want anymore, and then they just press both approve, and then the guarantee gets back. So it's like something like a credit line. So if you're now exchanging 200 euros worth, sending BTC to the other party, and the other party sending euro to the other party for 200 euros each, but they have set up like $3,000 in guarantees, they won't mess with each other. But it might make sense to do it 10 times 100 here, so like this, and each time only 100. Now let's say here for easiness 250 each. So if it doesn't behave once, you can show that you're willing to end with a limit, right? Like after contract install, so that after contract start. After contract start is when both parties have set up the money, have sent the money. And then I would say just 5 days instead of 5 hours. And first line, I don't know, first line, okay. And then it would be here as well, 250. I mean, I don't know, there might be many ways of doing things. I mean, I think it's almost everything is possible with this kind of system. And that is wrong, would need to be a guarantee. And so let's say this one, 250, 250. Okay, so now we have the same situation, $1,000, but this one in 5 days needs to be fine, and this could be 5 days after stage 1. After stage 1 finishes, 5 days. Yeah. And this after stage 3 finishes, no, after stage 2 I mean, and this would be another 5 days, something like that, right? And this after stage 3 finishes 5 days. Okay. So now you have this kind of situation where if it doesn't go right once, I mean, there's still some leverage you have over the other party for the approval of the other stages. So now this would make sense to list in the market, right? So here in this case, as this is open, also the person connected here could do it. Here we left, I think, Caroline, just with another name. Who cares? It doesn't matter for this one. So now if we go to web, because he's the web owner. No, I didn't do the listing. I will go back. Guarantee publishers listing. So now BTC Euro and one package purchase. So now this is in the market. No, not in the market. This is here pending. BTC Euros. I want to get blah blah blah. Let's say it says, yeah, that's okay for me. Thumbs up. Then it ends up here in the market listings. And yeah, I think you can also show always everything in dollars. So this will automatically add this everywhere. So if you for example, open here one of the smart contracts that is there, deposit, and you're typing it in here. You will always get dollar as well. And here, this has a preference for dollars. In this case, I mean, with very small Dero amounts, you don't see the exact amount here now. But okay, everything can be improved. I would hope that the community takes this example. I mean, this currently you can download the simulator which I compiled out of the PR135 from Slixer, which has the XSWD protocol in it, and I added the sender fix from PR147, which is necessary here in order to know where the messages come from in the chat. But currently, as everyone knows, there is some patch pending for improving the metadata of the transactions so that it's fully encrypted. This might take a few more weeks as of May 25th, which is today. I mean, if this is fixed so that not everything is visible, then this could be used together with this XSWD protocol. And so I added for Linux and Windows here the simulator, the compiled simulator, which consists, as said, out of PR135 and 147. And so you can test it on your own if you like it. Regarding the proposed fix from Slicks, I didn't like a lot the fact that usable bytes would go down from 144 bytes to only 80 bytes because of the inclusion of the two new private keys, which make up like 64 bytes in total. And so this would be not a lot for this application in order to send. So I calculated more or less that sending audio, images, and so on, there you would notice a difference because it chains like 100 or 200 transfers and transactions with 50 transfers each, which would raise the price, I guess, to almost double the price. So I think it would be a good opportunity to, after implementing the key fix, if this is what the community decides, to use this moment and say, okay, let's do 256 minus the 64 for the keys, then it's still 190 left for applications. I think that would be very good. It could even be better if it doesn't matter too much. I mean, if just the gas, the miner earns more money or whatever, there can be a price attached to it. But the overhead, the total transaction size minus the payload limit, the overhead is quite big for each transfer. If it's only like 5 or 10 bytes or 50 bytes or something, I think if it even would be possible to do like 500 bytes, I mean, there could be lots of applications. And I know not everyone likes the fact that the data, even though encrypted, would be on a blockchain, on a public blockchain, but it has also its advantages because there's no IP being saved anywhere. Blockchain mining doesn't use IPs, and all of the services which are out there usually, even though it's end-to-end encrypted, they know from which IP a request comes from and to which IP they send the information, even if they would not be able to read the content, they still know who talks to whom. So if somebody is privacy conscious, it's a trade-off, yeah. But I guess that also other data that gets sent encrypted end-to-end via the servers of third parties, it could theoretically also be stored and at a later point in time, if quantum computing comes up or whatever in 10 years, perhaps all of this data will be for powerful players. I mean, not for a small criminal. He will not be able to crack this information, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know. But this is more or less how this is. And yeah, I think, yeah, I could as well send another example here for sending. You get different colors. This is the minimum amount. In this case, I don't put it below if it's 0.001. But if you want to have your message, I mean, if Shakira says $500 per message, and then you send, you're the only one who's sending like $10,000 or $1,000, and this is the maximum, it gets a red background. So in order to show this, so if I send here like, what do I have? Let's say 1.5 Deros, and say this is a very long text, and you see that the minimum gets adjusted according to how much is being sent, because it will split the amount between the single transactions, and the rest that is needed to get to the total will go in the last one. So I sent this now. This is 1.68. So you now see that this has a very red background. If somebody would send 0.75, it would be in color-wise between the two. So if we, I mean, this gets calculated on the sending side, and this gets calculated also on the receiving side, each with its own minimum and maximum. And here see now we're losing a lot of money in this chat, seen from this one. But if we go to child 1, which is 40,003, so we go here. So you see that that this is the same way. So now he, for example, can choose what is the minimum amount that he accepts. So this is when it's the minimum. So, right. So obviously the image here, for example, has 0.00712 Deros attached to it. And this one has 0.00253 and so on. I mean, it depends also on the minimum size. So if you have 224 transfers via 0.001, the minimum in order to send this image will be 0.0224, but the main price is the fees for the mining for these transactions. And then you need to add the amount that you want to have the other person receive. But you see here, it comes exactly to 1.5 Deros, even though this needed to be split in different transfers. But in the end, it sums up. You're just sending what you want to send. And the same thing applies for audio and for images. Yeah, and you also have here your directory. You can import and export this as JSON. And here for smart contracts, let's open a fraudulent smart contract, which would be this one, the scam contract, MultiSignature EBCD. So let's go here, MultiSignature EBCD. And this is how the comparison looks like. So it checks the web contract, or the guarantee contract, or the MultiSignature contract, and you can choose how you want to highlight the differences. There are different methods. So in lines you see here there is a difference, right? So this is the easiest way to see it. And then you can say reject, so you don't want to load it, or you can load it anyway. Please discuss it. I hope that the community also can do something with my code, perhaps, I don't know, enhance it, use it in their own projects in order to have a starting point, in order to see how one can code with Dero. There might be really great ideas out there. I have lots of many more ideas what I can do with this technology. I think it's really awesome, because Bitcoin only is a speculative vehicle right now, and you cannot really do stuff like the things that you can do with Derohalo without needing a third party. So that's why, I would say, please give me feedback, send me approval PRs, rewrite the whole program or trash it entirely, do whatever you like. But I think really Dero gives the user lots of power, and the only thing is that they need to patch the issue that they found a week ago. That would be really good. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention. Bye bye.